Hi guys, Geechu64 here, and today we're going to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, Last of the Starks. Sorry for the delay in videos. I've been sick over the past week, and I probably still sound a little bit sick. I actually had two Game of Thrones videos planned for this week. One to talk about overall how the season's going, and one to actually review the episode. Unfortunately, I'm just going to combine them into one because I don't want to talk about it separately. Game of Thrones is really letting me down. For anybody who is liking the way the final season's going, that's completely fine. I would actually urge you not to watch this because I don't want to ruin your fun if you are enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it, and apparently the list of people who are not enjoying it is growing as the season progresses. So once again, I want to thank all new subscribers. I picked up quite a bit on my rant video. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me, and let's go ahead and get down to this. So just a very quick, like 1 to 2 minute review of this episode. It wasn't good. It felt like really terrible fan fiction. It was probably the worst episode of Game of Thrones. Definitely the worst episode of Game of Thrones because there were parts of it that it didn't even remotely feel like Game of Thrones at all. The parts where they're at Winterfell is good because it kind of lets the characters breathe and the plot's not forcing them along. And so some of the interactions and some of the things that are going on, in the Great Hall and Winterfell, specifically Tormont, I like Tormont. And, those character interactions for the most part felt pretty natural. The plot is not forcing the characters into doing things that they wouldn't do, which comes back to my real issue with it. But, once they leave Winterfell, that's when the whole episode really just takes a major dump. You got the Tyrion. Varys is all of a sudden like, well, Jon's definitely got the better claim. And that whole thing where Jon tells Sansa and Arya, that edit was one of the worst edits I've seen. Like, why the hell would you not show their reaction? That's one of the worst things in this episode is the editing. They cut away from scenes that are pretty vital and things the audience would want to know and want to see. It makes absolutely no sense. Sorry, there will be some edits throughout this video that are kind of choppy, mainly because I'm cutting out all the times I'm coughing, because I am getting over a cold, as I said from the beginning. Aegon Targaryen. So he tells Sansa and Arya, we don't get to see it. Terrible edits. Then Sansa immediately tells Tyrion, and Tyrion tells Varys, and then, it's all Gossip Girl in Game of Thrones, and it's whatever. Varys immediately decides to just throw Daenerys under the bus for no reason. He literally last season said, hey, I'm not going to plot behind your back. I'll let you know if you're failing the people. Then he immediately just changes his mind. What? Also, why the hell is Sansa and Arya so against Daenerys? She has not done anything. She came up south. Her dragon died for them. She fought a war for them. She lost over half of her army for them. She has not done anything to warrant the fact that they distrust her or dislike her at all. There's no reason. That's the real problem here. Okay, I'm getting back into the main problem of what I've had with it. Let me try and stay on the episode. Once they leave Winterfell, that's when everything falls apart. Rhaegal dying is so stupid. He just survived the long night. He survived fighting a zombie dragon. He survived the undead. And he dies to a harpoon. What? So the writers just randomly decided that the scorpions have to be buffed up in order to kill the dragon, and that's the way they decided to do it. Literally, there's so many other ways that you could make this fight even. If you want to get rid of Rhaegal, you should have just got rid of him during the long night. There was no reason to have him survive just to kill him with a dumb harpoon. And why the hell did they not see the fleet? They're up in the air. And how the hell did each one of those hit like the heart, the chest, and the neck and kill him? What? Euron is such a dumb character. Sorry if I'm a little bit low energy today. I did drink a Red Bull. I actually bought two, and it's a good thing because I actually tried this Red Bull Beach Breeze. It is so disgusting. It's called Beach Breeze, but it should be called Febreze. It's like a car freshener in your mouth. This was made for the kids who enjoyed eating Tide Pods. It is disgusting. 0 out of 100 stars. Do not drink this. It is just terrible. All right, back to Game of Thrones. Sunday, miraculously, she gets captured. She disappears during the attack, and next thing you know, Cersei has her. This is just like terrible. It's terrible storytelling. It's terrible editing. Why? I don't understand this. Then they have a meeting. All the scorpions are facing towards them. All these harpoons ready to kill them. She just shows up with like a couple dozen Unsullied and her dragon's way in the background. Why the hell would Cersei not just obliterate them? And this doesn't even look like King's Landing at all. This just feels like something out of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Where are they even at? It looks like they're in a desert somewhere. I thought winter had come. It started snowing at King's Landing at the end of last season. Am I the only one who thinks that this is crazy? I don't understand what's happening. Missandei gets beheaded. Okay. This episode is just terrible. It is by far the worst episode. Way worse than The Long Night. Let me get to the main problem with what I think is happening here. I actually thought about this a lot because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I've supported the show. I supported even the last season, season 7. A lot of people think it kind of went off the rails in season 7. I could see their point because season 7 did feel pretty rushed, but it doesn't feel anywhere near as rushed as this season feels. I thought season 7 at least had a good story to it. And you could check your logic because what was happening was interesting. And you could buy into it because the characters still acted like themselves, which comes to my main point why this season is terrible. These characters are not acting like the characters that we know. For the most part, they're all acting all over the place. Tyrion all of a sudden is an idiot. This is transition from last season. They kind of made him an idiot. This season, he's still acting like an idiot. Unless he has something up his sleeve in the next 2 episodes, he's not even acting like the character that we've known. Jon, I don't understand like what he's thinking as a character anymore. Who his character is just feels very different than what we've known. Daenerys, they're trying to make her into the Mad Queen all of a sudden. I mean, I'd be upset too if I lost 2 of my kids had died. My best friend died. 2 of my best friends, Jorah died, Missandei died, your 2 kids, your 2 dragons died. She lost half her army, and Sansa's still being a terrible person to her. I'd be pretty upset too. So if the whole idea is to try and make us against Daenerys, I don't think that's going to work. I'm still in Daenerys's camp. I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, well, yeah, she's so terrible, and now she's the Mad Queen. Again, I don't understand why Sansa hates Daenerys. It doesn't fit into her character. I can understand her being initially distrustful of her, but at this point, Daenerys should have proved that, she flew up there and defended the North, and she's still being treated like garbage. Jaime getting with Brienne, I don't really buy it. It feels like fan fiction. It was fine. Him immediately in the same episode getting with her, saying, oh, well, I'm a bad person. I'm going back to Cersei. If that's real and that's not him just saying that so she won't follow him because he's actually going to go and kill Cersei because he feels responsible for Cersei and he knows he's got to be the one to stop her. If that does not happen and this is legit, he's like, oh, well, I'm still in love with Cersei. I don't buy that at all. He rejected her in the last season. No, it's regressive character arcs. I just don't buy it at all. And that's what I mean is like all these characters are not acting like characters. What Game of Thrones has done really well is build a world. Their world building is on par with the best of the biggest franchises of all time. It feels like a very fleshed out world with rules, and there's characters who inhabit that world that feel like real characters, and there's real consequences for the things they decide to do. Some that you might guess and some that you might not, like the Red Wedding. I hadn't read the books at that time, so I had no idea that was going to happen. That was extremely shocking. And but the next episode, I was like, man, where's this going to go? I don't know. But at the end of it, I felt like Rob, the choices he had made, and it resulted in the Red Wedding, and his character arc basically ended. When Jon Snow died, I knew he was going to have to come back in some kind of way because his character arc hadn't ended. So while Game of Thrones does does buck a lot of the fantasy tropes, as far as character arcs go, it's very rooted in standard storytelling methods. And so what the show's done is they've built this world, they built these great characters that we love. And once they got outside the books, they started having to make up stuff. Some of it's from outlines that George probably gave them. That's what they say anyway. I think for the most part, they did a pretty good job up until this final season. And the reason this final season is so terrible is because the world feels way smaller. It doesn't feel like we're in the same world that they've built on throughout the entire show. It feels like budget size. The characters don't act like themselves anymore. And part of that is, it can't be because the writers don't understand the characters because they've been writing them for this long. It's got to be because the narrative that they're trying to push through is forcing the characters to do things that they wouldn't normally do just to push the plot along. And if you're going to do that, first off, that's a terrible idea. But if you're going to do that, then the narrative you have to give us has to be something good, something we buy, something believable. And it's not. So what we're watching is a bunch of characters we've grown to know and love do things that we know they wouldn't do, which breaks immersion. That is the number one reason why I think this season as a whole is so terrible, because it breaks immersion. These last 2 episodes have broken immersion to an immense degree, unlike anything. So when you watch entertainment, most people watch entertainment to escape from things. It's about immersing yourself into a different world and kind of, getting out of whatever, the mundane life that you're living. I mean, most people want entertainment as an escape. They do it as a hobby. It's a good way to just sit on your couch and chill out for a bit. Some people like just, hey, standard explosions in Michael Bay Fest. Not going to take anything away from that. Some people want stuff that they, world building. They want to be immersed in another world, in a story, and with characters. And that's what Game of Thrones has always been, at least to me, is an immersive world with characters that I like. And a story that's very interesting and that you can't always see what's going to happen, but you have a general idea of it. This whole final season is just... It's a really terrible fan fiction. The bad plot that they've written is pushing the characters instead of the characters living in a world and the narrative running through the characters. They have an idea where they want to take it. The writers have an idea where they want to take this, and they're just forcing the characters to do things that they wouldn't normally do. To me, that's the main problem with this. Part of it is the way that it's edited too. It's very rushed. Maybe the story could have been good, but it's not good with the amount of time that they have that they're trying to wrap this up. It feels rushed. The plot feels terrible. Everything feels forced. Characters don't act like the characters we know. The world doesn't even feel like the world that we know. Again, it feels very small. And that, to me, that's the real problem with Game of Thrones these last couple episodes. I'm recording this Sunday morning. Hopefully I can get it up pretty quick before the new episode drops. But, I really highly doubt that the final 2 episodes are going to do anything to change my mind about why this season is turning out to be so terrible. It's not immersive anymore. When we watch it, we just see all the things that it's like when you're watching a puppet. When you're watching a puppet and you're paying attention and the show's good, you don't see all the strings, right? Well, we see all the strings now. Not only do we see the strings, we see all the people up above them dancing. We don't even see the puppet anymore. We just see the people, directing the puppet. That's all we see now. We don't even, and that's a real problem. That's a real problem. When a show has done so well, what this show has done up until this point, fails so hard, all we see are the performers up top, and we don't even see the puppet. We don't see the show. We don't see anything. We just see some people pulling strings, and that's all we see when we watch it. It pulls out all the nitpicks. You know, it pulls out everything wrong, becomes amplified to the umpteenth degree. And it's not why we watch Game of Thrones. It's not why we watch anything in entertainment. We watch it to be immersed in something. We watch it for an escape, whether it's dumb fun, popcorn fun, terrible, and we like making fun of it. There's all kinds of different reasons why we watch it. Entertainment. But the main reason we watch entertainment is to escape into a different thing for a little while. We watch it for fun. Game of Thrones, to me, is no longer fun. I hate watching it because I just want to see how it ends. And when I rewatch Game of Thrones, I probably will never watch the final season again because it's that disappointing. Now, I don't know how this is going to have an impact on the legacy of the show. I really don't. I don't know if I'll be doing a review for the next episode or not. Again, I didn't really do a review for this one. We'll wait and see. I will definitely do a video after the show is ended. After the series finale happens, I will definitely do a video and let you know what my overall thoughts are on the season. But what I've said right now, I highly doubt that anything that's going to happen is really going to change my mind. Again, I'm sorry if I sound really weird and there's some weird edits in here. My throat is still scratchy and I've been coughing in between some cuts. So I want to thank you guys for sticking around. I want to thank new subscribers. I want to thank you all for watching my rant video and my review video. I do want to do a few more Game of Thrones videos. Sorry again for the low energy. I really appreciate you guys sticking around on this video. I really wanted to split this into 2 videos, and I'm sorry I couldn't get both of them out. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geek264, and I'll always tell you the truth.